Hi, my name is Aisha Khan, and I will be taking you through Module 3 of this Trauma Informed Company Training, which is focused on how you and your organization can get started on adopting trauma informed practices at work. In this module, we will share key steps for trauma informed supervision. As a result of this module, you will be better able to explain the importance of confidentiality, communication, and safety for trauma informed workplaces, understand how to make their supervision trauma responsive across 4 key areas of responsibility, and identify personal changes they can make in order to be more trauma informed in their work. Module 3.1 Key Steps for Trauma Informed Supervision. When we talk about trauma informed supervision, we are referring to ways people managers can better provide support to the people they supervise to foster growth. Trauma responsive supervision requires an acknowledgement of the inherent power of the supervisory role and the imbalance of power between supervisors and those they supervise. Mirroring the 6 principles of trauma-informed care discussed in Module 1, trauma-informed supervision continually considers employees' physical and psychological safety, demonstrates transparency and works to build trust, creates opportunities for peer connection and community building, offers employees opportunities to inform decisions, shape the work, and make choices that affect their day-to-day work, and is aware of the power dynamics of the workplace and seeks to share power when possible and appropriate. This is a continual practice. It is a skill that needs to be exercised and built. The tips offered next are a starting point for you to explore how to incorporate these principles into your work. First, we want to share 3 key considerations. When working with survivors, confidentiality is critical. People managers should not share the personal backgrounds of individuals and or whether they are taking part in an employment program unless strictly necessary. People managers should also treat any sensitive conversations with the individuals they supervise as confidential. If for any reason people managers feel that they must share this information, they should discuss it with the individual they supervise first to make them aware of the need to share information and ask how they would prefer that information be presented so they have some control over their own story. Next, recognize that the language we use can be harmful. People managers should avoid using labels such as survivors and victims in the workplace. Many survivors are trying to move on from past experiences, and being defined by these events is counterproductive to their healing and recovery journey. They are people first, and trafficking is part of their experience, but it does not define them. Also recognize that myths and harmful stereotyping or sensationalizing of human trafficking must be addressed and avoided. Finally, and we have emphasized this one before, one's physical and psychological safety must be centered. Consider how individuals are able to move within the workspace, the overall atmosphere of the environment, and the workplace culture. It can be helpful to connect with victim advocates who have worked with survivors of human trafficking and other forms of gender-based violence to assess potential safety threats. Let's focus a bit more specifically on creating a safer physical space. First, it is important to note that no space can be truly safe. What is safe varies from one person to another, but we can strive to make a space as safe as possible, particularly for those who are at greatest risk of harm due to their work roles, personal identity, or history of trauma. First, work to assess the workspace and determine if there are places that are unsafe. Be sure to include multiple perspectives from various individuals throughout the organization to help ensure your assessment is comprehensive. Consider, for example, are there areas of the workplace that are more isolated and may need more security? Are entrances and exits easily accessible? Are there potentially harmful sensory stimulants you can address, like lighting, sound, temperature, or smells? Who has access to the environment? And finally, are people able to enter and exit as they please? Remember, In some cases, abusive individuals can show up at the workplace to monitor or disrupt an individual's ability to work. If security is available, they can be informed of individuals who should be prohibited from entering the space. As always, ask survivors what they need to feel safe and thrive. They are the experts of their own experience and know best what they need. Module 3.2: Key areas for people managers to provide trauma-informed supervision. In terms of day-to-day supervisory practices, people managers can adopt trauma-informed practices across 4 of their key areas of responsibility to create a holistic approach. These include leadership practices, project management, personnel management, and employee support. I will speak to each of these in more detail on the following slides. First, as a people manager, you are a workplace leader and have great influence over the culture of your team. A trauma-informed leader works to build trust and openness, provides consistency while maintaining flexibility, and establishes an inclusive culture. Opportunities to demonstrate trauma-informed leadership include clearly communicating your role and responsibilities as supervisor from day one, creating a working environment in which all employees and their contributions are valued, regardless of the power and prestige of any particular role, acknowledging your own mistakes and seeking to rectify any harms caused, and holding others accountable when they engage in harmful behavior. For example, if you learn that an employee has made derogatory comments about another employee's appearance or dress, confront the situation not only in the context of the harm done to the individual targeted, but also to all in the workplace. There are many ways to implement trauma-informed principles into the practices of team and project management, including with offering opportunities for employees to engage in project management processes and feedback, and clearly communicating changes to the project team, creating opportunities for critical feedback, and maintaining openness to all feedback offered so that employees feel safe in expressing themselves, giving employees ownership over their own tasks while also offering support and guidance as needed, establishing frequent check-ins to not only monitor progress towards goals, but to assess what employees need to succeed, and being transparent about and communicating administrative changes in a timely manner, which helps to build trust. Further, you can provide support and foster employee development using a trauma-informed approach to support colleagues to make choices about their own safety and healing and connect them with relevant resources. Ensure all employees have received internal training and have the tools and resources necessary to execute their duties. This empowers them to succeed. Provide consistent and constructive feedback related to work performance and create opportunities to strengthen and enhance skills. If improvement is needed, work collaboratively to establish reasonable goals and timeframes. No employee should be surprised during a performance evaluation. Recognize that violence, trauma, and other hardships significantly impact an employee's job performance. An employee may be hesitant to disclose personal information due to fear or shame, so be sure to share a variety of resources, such as an employee assistance program, if applicable, and emphasize your role as an ally who is willing to help navigate potential accommodations. In supporting your staff, you provide access to appropriate resources and training, ensure consistent feedback, and respond to incidents in a trauma-informed way. For instance, ask employees what skills they would like to develop and how they would like to advance. This promotes empowerment. Facilitate opportunities for employees' learning and professional growth. Help build a sense of community by providing opportunities for mentorship and encouraging the creation of and fostering participation in peer support structures among employees. Building community reduces the potential for isolation and promotes a sense of belonging and teamwork. If you receive reports of violence, harassment, or abuse, listen empathetically and suspend judgment. This fosters safety and trust. Advocate for the support and resources that employees have determined necessary for their safety, well-being, and ability to succeed. This is a great way to use your power to elevate the voices of others and contribute to greater levels of safety. Take a few minutes now to reflect on your own management style and how that might overlap with the 4 areas for trauma responsive supervision. Identify ways that you may already be using these principles, where you may be able to implement additional principles, and what support you may need to adopt more of a trauma informed lens. You may use the checklist in the appendix of this presentation document to review detailed opportunities to infuse trauma informed principles in leadership across all 4 areas of management. In this module, we emphasize the importance of confidentiality, communications, and safety when working with survivors of human trafficking. We describe specific actions people managers can take to implement a trauma-informed lens in leadership, project management, personnel management, and employee support. Finally, you work to identify ways you can use the information shared through this training to strengthen your own management practices. This completes the training. We hope this training helped to increase your awareness of the impact of trauma on survivors of human trafficking and provided you with the tools and strategies needed to implement a trauma-informed workplace for all of those you support. Thank you.